It's Today in Putnam County with Shan Stout.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Today in Putnam County. I'm Shan Stout, Director of Tourism for the Cookeville Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we have a wonderful show for you today. I have the lovely Linda Vickers from Safe Haven, and we have a surprise guest. We're going to get into her in just a moment and unpack all the wonderful things about Safe Haven. Now, for our listening and viewing audience, Linda, let's talk about what is Safe Haven and maybe a little bit about your origin story, because you're not located here in Putnam County, but you're serving this area,
Yes,
correct?
Yes. So Safe Haven is a 12-month residential, faith-based home for women that are coming out of incarceration and addiction. So we've been in, I guess, operation since 2023. A lot of people don't know we're down there because we're kind of hid, but I do jail ministry in Putnam County Jail. Started doing that in 2015. I have a lot of addiction in my family. My son, my great niece, a lot of my great nieces and nephews. So walking through that with him just helped me see how much devastation that this causes. And it doesn't pick just one type of person. Addiction will hit anybody and everybody.
Well, and Linda, I think our audience would agree. Everyone, I've never met a person that did not have an overlap of addiction in alcohol or drugs in some form.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just have never, there may be that person out there somewhere, but I've not met them.
I have not either.
I think that everyone is impacted by this, and we all have the same level of heartbreak and compassion and care to want to help, everyone live their best possible life. We don't want to see someone in pain. We certainly, the perils of addiction, when you have followed that journey, it is hard to watch. You feel helpless. But what you're telling me is you guys provide some help. Now, you talked about where you were located. Let's explain what that is. For anyone who doesn't know anything about Safe Haven, you have a home.
We do. It's a residential home. We can house up to 10 ladies at one time. So these ladies work jobs. We're very structured. They have phase work they have to do. They have programs that they have, celebrate recovery. They have to do housework, because some of these women come in, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. We help them with budgets. We put them through Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University. We teach them budgeting. We teach them boundaries, because if you don't know how to set boundaries, it's kind of hard to make it, because you're going to be saying yes a lot of times when you should be saying no. And we also, that first phase, we have 4 phases. They're 13 weeks each. So in that first phase, they do the Dave Ramsey boundaries and experiencing God. Because we're faith-based, we want them to develop that relationship with Jesus Christ, that one-on-one personal relationship with Him, because that's the only thing that's going to keep them sober and living the life that God created them to live, where they can go back home and be the mothers that God called them to be, because most of them don't have their kids. They've been, somebody, grandma, grandpa, DCS, somebody's taking care of their kids, but they want to be mothers. So they have to be taught how to do that and how to live what we would call a normal life. Our life is not normal to them.
So it looks like you're tackling mind, body, and soul all at the same time, and that is a complex undertaking.
Yes.
When you have that foundation of addiction that's kind of haunting, that individual.
Yes.
How are these women finding you? Are these by referral? Are these family members that are, bringing in their family member? What is that journey like?
Most of the time they come out of the Putnam County Jail or the Jackson County Jail or any of the jails in the 13th Judicial District.
So are they being referred from the jail to you? Like how, or are they just they know the information? How is that connection happening?
I go in and do jail ministry.
Okay, so that is through your jail ministry.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Been doing that since 2015 with Life Church. Been doing it about 6 years in Jackson County in the jail down there. So I would say 75% of our ladies come from Putnam County. And I've built a really good rapport with a lot of the attorneys. I know some of the judges. They know me personally. They know that I'm real. I don't do this to make a living. As a matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and say it. My husband and I are retired. We do not take salary. My people that on staff, they don't take salaries. So everything that people donate to us or give to us goes 100% back into these women. And I just did a couple of interviews in the jail this morning, and I'm so excited about these women because I can just see what God's going to do in them. You know, they're going to have those kids back. They're going to have their moms and dads back, and we've got to watch that at Safe Haven. We've seen families restored. I'm talking mothers, daughters, granddaughters, just their lives are restored and they love each other now. And they'd burned all those bridges before because of the addiction. And to get to see them put that back together, gosh, it's so exciting.
And
it's
that's
exciting.
Your goal. That's what you're volunteering
Yes,
for. And
absolutely.
first off, thank you, because to have
It's
a
my
ministry where you have no benefit and it is all you giving
Yes.
towards this beautiful goal.
Yes.
I have had addiction not only prevalent in my extended family, but also I have a friend whose daughter, when she was in high school, she was addicted to drugs and eventually wound up in jail. So
Yes.
that journey happened.
Yeah.
She wound up in jail. The mother was relieved because she said she can get sober basically in jail, and maybe we can get her help, because they could
Absolutely.
never get her to a point where she would stop the bad decisions, the bad behavior.
Right.
And have you found that that is the case?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once they get in jail, that sounds awful, but that saves their lives. I've heard many, many women tell me, had I not been arrested and come to jail, I would be dead today.
So that makes your ministry very important, that you are going into the jails and you are meeting with these women whose mind may be clear for the first time in a very long time.
Absolutely.
And so they're making these decisions while they are sober of
Yes.
thought and
Yes.
while they are clear. And so that is very, very important. Now, you've brought a guest with us today, and she's been sitting here beautiful
Yeah.
and quiet the whole time. So for our radio audience, you may not know she's here, but trust me, Deanna is here, and she is
Absolutely.
quite lovely. Tell us a
thank you.
little bit about Deanna, and then we want to hear your story.
Okay.
So this Deanna Jenkins, she is the president of my board, but I met Deanna several years ago when she was in a program of her own, not Safe Haven, it was a different program. But I actually got to minister to her because I would go and take ladies to probation appointments, attorneys appointments, anything that they needed me to do, I would go and
So
transport
this is
ladies.
a full circle moment we're
Yes,
seeing right here.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I met Miss Linda in 2019. I had struggled with drug addiction for a very, very long time, and I received a jail sentence, a 4-year state sentence for sale and delivery of Schedule II narcotics. And I violated that probation, and I went to jail in Jackson County. And I knew whenever it was time for me to come up for parole that I needed to go somewhere and try to get myself back together and try to figure out, what's next in life. And I knew I couldn't go back to the same environment that had made me sick. So I started filling out applications, went to a program, and there Miss Linda was mentoring to some of the women, and she, took me to some appointments and things, and we hit it off. She's just real. Her heart's pure. It's, she just really helped me a lot. So this was in 2019. Fast forward until 2023, Miss Linda, came to me and she said, Deanna, she said, the Lord has put on my heart that I want to, that we're going to open this house and I want you to be a part of it. She brought me on, I think, because of my experience with the drug addiction, the jail sentence, and the close personal relationship that I had with Jesus. And, her and I worked really well together, and she mentored me a lot. So we had a really good relationship. And so that's, kind of how our stories intertwined volunteer. And so I help Miss Linda in several aspects. Like I facilitate a Celebrate Recovery class at the Jackson County Jail, and it usually takes us about 8 months to get through that. And a lot of the women that end up doing the applications to go to Safe Haven, I have built a rapport with, and can kind of help along the way in whatever aspect Miss Linda needs me.
So let's unpack that piece.
It's a lot. I'm sorry.
No, it's wonderful. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I can imagine what Linda saw in you, because you do have a beautiful spirit.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you.
your kindness. I mean, we've only known each other a short time now, and I adore you. And I can only imagine when you go into these prisons and you're working with these women, that's very important that you acknowledge and model. You're mirroring their similar stories.
Yes.
Because I think the last thing someone wants, and it doesn't matter what your struggle is, it could have something to do with, nothing to do with drug and alcohol, and something to do with something else.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have a person who understands because they don't relate,
Right.
their advice kind of falls flat.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so I can only imagine how valuable it is for you to be on the other side of what they think is maybe impossible or improbable for them, but you've done it.
Yeah.
So what is that like when you go in and, you said you build a rapport, but I would think maybe mutual respect is often
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
common thread. What is it like when do you have resistance with some where you just go, oh my goodness, I can't break through to this person?
Yes.
And what does that
Yes.
feel like for you? Because you really probably want to get through that wall for them.
Yes. So I think with doing this and working with these women, I've learned that I cannot want it more than they do. And Miss
Absolutely.
Linda has really, really helped me with kind of coming to grasp with that we can't do it for them. They have to do it for themselves.
Absolutely.
And it really does help me in my sobriety to work with Miss Linda, to work with the women, to work with the jails, and it helps me. The 12 step. You can't keep what you have to give it away to keep what you got.
That's right.
So I think that this helps me, and a lot of times those women don't even realize that they're helping me. But I think that it's very, very important just to bring awareness to it, that these people are not the drug addict that they always, the bad things that they do. There's way more to them than what usually we see. We just have to get them at a place to where they're sober and, like you said earlier, clear-minded.
Yes.
And it really works well because usually they've had 5, 6, sometimes even up to 2 years, sometimes more than that really, to get sober, to get clear-minded. And then that's when they come out of the jail and they go to Safe Haven, and then they start the discipleship training, building on the foundation, and can say, okay, here's what I need to do next, and kind of start the process of just being normal, being productive, having a good life.
And how has that felt to see the fruits of your labor when, you've had these women go through the program and they are living a productive, healthy, happy life?
Oh my goodness. It's the most rewarding thing. It's the best part of it. You see them, and Miss Linda talks about this a lot. You see them come in and they're jittery. They can't sit still. They don't have a complete thought. They're all over the place. And over time, you see them slow down and start internalizing things and learning things. And then when they get with Safe Haven and Miss Linda, it comes full circle. It really does.
It does.
Well, I appreciate the ministry that you've got going and the hard work and this resource you're providing for these women, and the fact that the women are willing.
Yes.
Because it does take that step. You can have a resource for someone and no one come to receive the help,
That's
and
right.
you've not been able to accomplish your goal.
right.
So when we come back, we've been talking to Linda Vickers and her lovely, lovely board, Deanna, and hearing her journey and her story. And this is Safe Haven Sober Living Home. And we are thrilled to have them today. When we come back, we'll hear about how you, our listening and viewing audience, can give back and help support them. and hear a little more about their journey and also some exciting events that they've got on the horizon. So you are listening to Today in Putnam County, and we'll be right back.
We're back with Today in Putnam County with Shan Stout.
Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm Shan Stout, and if you are just now joining us, you need to know that we have two wonderful guests with us today with Safe Haven Sober Living. And Linda Vickers has been talking about the wonderful journey and her fantastic recruitment of Deanna.
Yes.
And Linda, now that we've heard your origin story, we want to move on to talk about, I know that our viewers and our listening audience, their heartstrings have been pulled because everyone has had some dealing, some impact with alcohol abuse and with drug addiction.
Absolutely.
It is just something that is prevalent across our world, across our families. And you provide a safe haven for women to be able to come and, Deanna, you were talking about your journey, how, when you decided you wanted to turn your life around, you didn't want to go back to the same places and people that would have pulled you back down into the pits of darkness to make bad decisions, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You needed a new lease on life, and Safe Haven is what you give women to be able to, and you said you can't make their decision for them.
No.
And they didn't wake up one day and just say, hey, I just want to get addicted to drugs or alcohol, right?
They do
Nobody
not.
wakes up and says, I want to be an addict
No,
today. I'm
no,
going to
they
work
do
real
not.
hard.
They
Talk to us about, we've talked about, potentially a solution. You give them hope and an opportunity and a pathway. But let's talk about causation, because, a lot of times, I was telling you about a family member I had that broke their neck and got addicted to prescription drugs. That really wasn't their fault, but now they're an addict and something has to happen. So talk about, some of these ladies, what have been their issues when they come to you?
A lot of the ladies have been through a lot of childhood trauma. So I have no training in that myself, but I have gone to a lot of seminars and trainings that the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse does. So they give ladies a test. There's a test, and it's called the ACE score, and it's Advanced Childhood, I forgot what the last one stands for.
Yeah.
But anyway, it tells how much childhood trauma they've had. So a lot of our ladies, I put that in my application for them to fill out, and they will score anywhere from 7 to 10. There's 10 questions.
Yeah, on a scale, that's
On
very,
a
very
scale,
high.
That's very high, very high. A lot of them have been sexually abused by people that they love, close to them. They've also been physically abused, verbally abused. They've just been through all kinds of trauma that children should never have to go through. So a child doesn't know how to handle that. So as they begin to grow, a lot of them become prostitutes. They'll prostitute themselves out. But when that pain gets so bad that they can't take it anymore, they will turn to drugs to self-medicate.
They're self-medicating
They're
their trauma.
self-medicating so they don't feel that.
So my heartstrings have been tugging this entire interview. I love the fact, for anyone who's just tuning in, Linda, Deanna, you're not taking a salary for what you're doing in this
we
ministry.
don't.
This is truly a ministry.
It is.
You are trying to help these women. You have a prison ministry where you're trying to reach them at their point of sobriety,
Yes.
and that's forced sobriety.
Yes.
That is not chosen sobriety.
Yes.
So you're trying to get them to leave prison at the opportune moment of then chosen sobriety, right?
Yes, exactly.
And this has been a working model for you. You have this sober living home in Jackson County.
Yes.
You said 75% of the women that you serve are in Putnam County.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're obviously funneling a whole lot of opportunity your way, but we also could help funnel resources. So you have an upcoming fundraiser. Let's talk about what's going on there. But apart from that, how else can we give back to help support what you're doing here?
Okay, we can always use people to come on board and be monthly partners with us. Anything helps. $25, $50, $50,000. We'll take it.
Even
Whatever
better.
you feel led to do.
Whatever you feel led to do and can afford, we will take that. But we just want the community to realize that this is so important for these women. It is so important. And everything that people give to us goes 100% back into these ladies. I just love it when I see their lives change. I want them to become productive citizens of society again. Yeah. And so many times, like you said earlier on, people look at addicts and think they're no good. Just they're bad people. They're not bad people. They've been treated bad. They've made bad choices, but they need somebody to reach out to them and say, I love you. I care about you. Let me help you. There's a better way. So that's what I do. I'm going to cry. I just treat them like a mama, you know, because some of them, their mothers are already dead. They've died from overdoses. Some of them were raised by their grandparents, and they're gone. Yeah. So they don't really have mothers to love on them, and I just love them like they're mine.
Well, and you talked about, Linda, I love the fact that you respect and understand the fact that oftentimes these women did not learn a nurture behavior of how to care for a household, how to care for their children.
Right.
Because some of these women have children.
They do.
And they want to be reunited with their children. So that becomes a driver for them and an incentive. But even with that, they still have to, you know, Deanna, you were talking about you can't make the decision for them to want to do better. We can hope that they will.
That's right.
Yes.
But you have to respect the fact that they have to make that decision. And that's where that internal power comes from.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, you have goals of having, obviously you can house, what'd you say, 10 women?
10 ladies, yes.
10 women. And you said, we're going to need to build a bigger house.
We
need a bigger house,
Yes.
and that requires funding.
I have a big vision.
So I love it. We need to be able to grow. Obviously, there is a need.
There
10
is.
women makes a big impact, but that is a small number of women
It is.
compared to the ones that probably actually need this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've got a special 5K coming up. Let's
do.
talk about that
Yes.
first.
Okay, so yes, we do have one coming up.
Yes.
And Deanna has kind of taken that on, and I'm going to let her talk about that because she knows about it and I don't.
So I was praying about it, and I kept saying, Lord, what can I do to help this ministry? And so he kind of took me down memory lane to back when I was in my program, and one of my house managers took us on a 5K turkey trot, and we had the best time. You know, it was me and the house manager and like one other girl from the house like signed up. And we had such a good time, and there was so many people around, and I was like, okay, let's do it. And I know nothing about 5K. I know nothing about getting permits. I knew nothing about it. And I said, God, if this works out and it's a good event, it will definitely glorify Him.
Amen.
Because it ain't me. I'm just showing up doing my part, though. And so what we're doing is we have PBR racing from Knoxville coming in, so it's going to be a timed event. Yes. We have registration on our website, safehavenuc.org. We're doing early registration, and it's $25. The race starts at 8:30. Rain or shine, come on out.
Yes.
You don't have to be an avid runner. You don't have to be a professional runner. Just come out and support these women. We're calling it, Run for a Reason, and Safe Haven and the participants at the program and anybody struggling with addiction is the reason that we're running.
Absolutely.
There's plenty of ways to get involved with it. If you would like to be a sponsor, we're doing a tiered sponsorship and, getting gift prizes, logos on our website, logos on the T-shirts. And then, the economy's terrible. People are saying, hey, we don't want a sponsorship, but we would like to donate. All they have to do is just get on the website and send a donation, and it goes straight into the savings account. And Miss Linda, she'll apply it where it needs. And hopefully we can build up a little bit of savings for the new house. God's doing a mighty work down there. And since 2023, there has been 9 successful graduates, and we just want to do more. People like me that really, really had their life changed. Like, I want all women to have the opportunity that I had to as bad as jail was, I still was able to, get that clear mind, know I needed to go somewhere, and then, God do miracles and have a good,
Absolutely.
productive life.
Absolutely. Yes.
So let's talk about, it's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life. If you didn't exist, those 9 women who have graduated through your program, and you provided this safe space and support, and I think the support is very important, and a role model.
Absolutely.
These women could be back in jail had they not gone through your program. They could have, gone back to their original lifestyle. I mean, I've seen that happen a lot where people just don't have any opportunity, so they just go back to what they know, right? And they think, I'll just be stronger next time. I'll just tell my friends no, I don't, but it doesn't last very long because those bad influences just can wear you down.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And, my mother, she is full of all kinds of common sense, and she always says, how could I judge someone who is addicted to any substance when I have trouble turning a brownie away? She said, if I try to get off sugar, I have trouble turning a brownie away. And that is an addiction that is just that big. It's tiny. And so when you're talking about a controlled substance that can just wreck your mind and wreck your body, and it's something almost bigger than you, right?
Yes. It is.
So having this opportunity, you may, even with the people listening, they may go, well, if you're only helping 10 women and you've had 9 women graduate through Safe Haven and all of this, but think about those women who have families, how it affects, how many people are affected by 9 women making good decisions versus 9 women making poor decisions.
Right.
I know that in my experience with addiction, it wrecks the entire family unit.
It does.
Yes.
The immediate family, the extended family, and especially any children involved. It just wrecks you. And there is just nothing can be done. Everyone's world is put on pause. Trying to help this one person.
Yes.
Because it is both damaging and can be dangerous.
Yes.
Correct?
But on the flip side of that, their recovery can also affect the whole family.
Yes.
It really is. That's the cool thing. So at Safe Haven, Miss Linda has been doing what they call a family night, and it's like, she invites the family over of the girls, and they get to kind of, they do a praise and worship service. They do,
We have a meal together.
And just kind of hang out. And over the process of that, we have seen so many families. When I was in my active addiction, my family, I broke all their trust. They, I wreaked havoc everywhere I went, and nobody wanted to be around it. And that's the same for a lot of these women. And so now it's building up the family's trust and faith in what's going to happen next.
Yes.
The kids get to come in and actually spend time with mom sober, laughing, cutting up, and having fun. And programming is not easy. It's one of the hardest things that a woman will do, but it's so worth it.
Yes.
It really is. So I just want everybody to be aware that Safe Haven, just bring awareness to it, and to know that it is such a good place, and there's so many lives being changed. Full force. It's beautiful.
And we need the whole community to realize every life matters.
Yes.
All these jails are full of people that have been in addiction. They'll violate their probation. They go back to jail. Jail is not the answer. Jesus is the answer. And love. You got to love them unconditionally right where they are and not judge them, because they already know they've messed up. But they need somebody to say, I love you. Let me help you. And I just can't love them enough. I would take every lady in every jail home with me if I had a place to take them. I would.
Miss Linda, I sincerely believe that. And we want to help you help as many women as you possibly can. So let's hear your website one more time.
Deanna, you?
safehavenuc.org. Again, safehavenuc.org, and you can follow us on all socials. Just check out Safe Haven.
So again, one more time, the 5K is going to be
At Dogwood Park, May 9th.
all right.
At early registration is 8:30, and then the race begins at 9:30.
And you say rain or shine, but if you know runners, and I ran for a very long time in races,
Yes.
a rainy run is a blessing from God.
Yes,
it is
sometimes,
because
yeah.
you are hot, and
Yes.
that is cool, and it's actually a really fun experience.
Yes.
So yeah, runners aren't going to stop for any reason. You're in real good shape. So you want to sign up for the 5K. If you don't
Yes.
want to run, you can donate.
Yes.
Be sure to check out Safe Haven. Help them make their future dreams come true and support their current goals. We appreciate Linda, Indiana, for being
you
our
gonna
guest today.
Are you going to register?
Listen, I'm thinking about it. I
Hey,
haven't
we would
run in
love
a
to
long
have you.
time. I'd have to start training.
You can walk.
I'll have
You
to
don't-
run. I'm gonna have to run laps around the convention center,
Yeah.
run around the fairgrounds.
We
I'll
would
be
love
good.
to have you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, ladies.
you.
We appreciate your time today. You have been listening to Today in Putnam County, and until we see you next week, enjoy the journey.
This has been Today in Putnam County with Shan Stout.